and all of the worries about how USG were this super team from the lower countries who'd been to PSV and beat them 3-1 and the top of the league, unbeaten all season, wonderful record, etc., etc., counts for nothing when you've got a Belgian league team playing against a Premier League team. And as poor as we have been in the Prem, we were light years ahead of the opposition today, I felt. There was massive concern with the lineup, massive concern, and again, completely unwarranted. We've got Tiger in the building, here to eat humble pie.
But listen, I don't get, like, we can perform like that, and then against other teams we perform crap. I just like, today we played well. Like, honestly, hats off to everyone. I thought Dan Burn at left back, I was like, what is he doing? But hey, he done well, you know.
And when Hall came on, you could see why Eddie hasn't been playing him, because he was Fleming, who were missed last time. Like, we can see that super chatty, and thank you very, very much. That's right. We also got a one from Olasula Adon, beg your pardon, has to be Alanga and Gordon going forward. Again, Botman and Chiao and Tonali outstanding.
His hold-up play, him bringing in Alanga and Gordon, I thought he was brilliant. And it just shows, like the team we are with a striker up front. When there's no striker, we look like out of place. But, Eddie Howe got his spot on today. And, we're going to Forest now. And I think that's a must-win game now, Forest. And I think Howe's slowly finding out what his team is now, his first 11. I think it's the defense is like, who does he pick for? I think that's where his biggest headache is the defense, right? Like,
but the defense is yet another clean sheet. The only teams that have scored are Liverpool, Arsenal, and Barcelona.
Yeah, I think if I was to pick anybody out that you would probably expect a little bit more, I'd probably say Bruno. I mean, but look, the biggest compliment you can ever give a defender or a defensive midfielder is you didn't see him in the game. In my opinion, look, there was little moments where he's played a couple of balls around the corner and whatnot, but Tonali, it doesn't matter what phase of the game we're in, whether we're defending, whether we're counter-attacking, or whether we're in the impetus of the game, you see him. And it's hard to really get where we really hurt them, but I definitely say that
Gary's saying
Alanga affected the game more than anybody in the important moments. But the best player on the pitch was Tonali, by a mile. When we had sustained periods of possession and we pinned them in a little bit, he carried that on. He got up the pitch, we kept possession, and he was always involved when we did that. The top teams, when they have you on the edge of your box, recycle the ball continuously. And what happens to you? He's going to be absolutely vital to do that, because one thing he's able to do is, okay, he takes liberties at times and just swivels and he receives. And as a midfielder, I think you can go to bed tonight and go, my team's won 4-0. I've done my job. Cool.
40 out of 45 accurate passes.
If you can keep a clean sheet and not be invisible, it means that you're orchestrating what's in front of you. Dropping into that zone, that 10 zone, and being able to collect the ball and keep the ball, and then utilize the ball, because we've seen it in the past.
Okay, he's not spraying the balls out like Harry Kane does, but he tracks that many players, like you've just said there. That the spaces, if you've got people with pace, you've just got to get the ball backwards and then forwards again.
But what he brings to this team is a link play between midfield and forward line, which is something that we haven't had for a long time. Because what he does, he becomes that extra body in the 10 slot for the out ball for anybody struggling in the middle. And somebody made a comment the other day, because I said, can you imagine what Voltemada could be like if he was selfish and not a nice kid, not a nice player, right? And somebody come back in the chat and said, How can you say that when he scored 20 odd goals in the Bundesliga? You know, and
A
it's
different
like,
level.
yeah, it's like I said, you're not always going to be banging in the games and goals ratio in the Premier League. So if he can bring some of that to the Premier League, then that's going to make us better. Seen the best out of this kid yet.
When I was telling, I wouldn't know who Lefay is. All I know is when you see his name written down, it's Lefay, not Leffy, as Chris was saying. So it just so happens we had a cardinal called Basil Hume from Newcastle, who was the cardinal primate of all England. When Bruno was bold and confident, actively looking for the ball, we always play better, and he brings everyone into it. He was just quietly effective. I think maybe if we'd been under the cosh or something and he needed to step up, he probably would have done. He was one of our quieter
For me,
players
today,
today.
the physical attribute to the team paid the effect. What are they both very, very good at?
It is a little look at our end of game pass map. As you can see here, look, you talk about Bruno had a quiet game. He was the one that was sitting deeper than Tonali. Majority of where you're picking the ball up centre circle. And this is where we were saying about, you know, you win or lose that second ball if you don't win that
I think
header
that's a
from
beautiful
a clearance.
pass map.
And if you look here, you know, this is from Bruno to the front man. Literally one of the strongest passes channels in the whole of the team. Sorry, out from Tonali out to Trippier. So you can see Trippier through to Elanga as well. But this one for me, Bruno directing up to Voltemada more than anybody else on the field of play. And then you've got the likes of, again, we were talking about the Tonali pace and the recovery. If you look at their spider web, you look at the congestion in this centre circle here. So you can see what they were trying to do and how ineffective it was because we actually
Nothing
played
on our side of the half,
yeah,
really.
we actually played the ball away from where their strength was and what the way they set up. So very, very well done to Eddie Howe today because I think he certainly out coached them.
He just knew if we kept the pace high in the first half, all right, if we hadn't scored even in the first half, the second half we're going to get chances because quality off the bench, which proved again, Wynn alluded to it, Harvey Barnes coming off the bench, scoring a goal. Look, I know he's started games this season, but I am starting to believe that he's more of the type of player that Waldemar will link up with. But you've got to get Gordon in the team because the one thing that we were brilliant at under Eddie Howe is being able to press from the front.
Looks like Eddie gave the lads more freedom to express how good they can be tonight.
Yes, we're so fucking relieved. The first goal comes from proper wing play. The ball gets to the byline. It gets put in the box.
I mean, and nothing shines behind the team game and the team effort apart from the last goal. When you see it literally from the right back position through to the right inside right position where you finally get the finished article. So I look at the today as being, like I said, even the subs come on, and we've seen in the past where you've made substitutes on the hour mark, which is, you know, Eddie's go-to clock watch.
He's going to have a difficult conversation with Joe Linton because Joe Linton's he doesn't strike me as the type that's going to seem unhappy and not say something to Eddie and say, why did you take me off? But Eddie's got the perfect argument. I'm trying to say that Eddie's done the right thing. Gary's said Joe Linton is the physical pusher.
If I see a player happy to come off the field of play, it means he's got no passion for the game.
The yellow card, then, you know, we're comfortable.
I mean, it's like, you know, if a player comes off the field of play after playing, I mean, again, you look at what his role was today, and again, if you look at the midfield three, he's very left-sided. So he's in that channel where he's got to try and stop the balls coming through and protect Byrne from getting beat. So me and Andy were talking about the way Eddie was trying to give him identify a weakness within their squad. No, what for me, what stood out was the frustration on his face when he was leaving the park.
Thank you for watching that video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. You can watch more videos here. You can also subscribe to our following channels here, our extra channel for NUFC Talk TV, this channel of course, and also to RCM Football, where we put Premier League content there. So if you're a neutral fan, subscribe to that one, and everybody subscribe to those channels of course. Don't forget to smash the like button, become a member to enjoy better and more content, all access to our videos if you become a member. Thank you very much indeed for your support. This is Chris the American Mag. I'll see you on the next one.